Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Our group will explain about the nature of the cats and the type of the cats. I am Nurul Akmal Zulaikha binti Azhar and I will start to explain about the definition of the cats. Cat is come from the computer assisted audit technique. Cat is the practice of using computers to automate the accounting and audit process. It is also enable the auditor to do more work within the less time and add value through the assurance of process which is more robust and comprehensive. Cats normally includes using basis office of productivity software such as spreadsheet, word processor and text editing program, and also more advanced software packages which include the use of statistical analysis and business intelligence tools. Alright, next topic is why we need cats in the audit process. It is for substantive tests and tests of control for both application and general control. On the whole, general control apply to all computerized application and consists of combination of hardware, software and manual procedure that create a overall control environment. Application control are specific control unique to each computerized application such as payroll or order processing. With the increasing use of information technology by business entity for recording transaction and their processing, the need for auditor to utilize tools to adequately assess the risks that become integral part of the auditor coverage. CAT serve for the important tool for auditor to evaluate the control environment in an efficient and effective manner. It is used in performing various audit procedures such as analytical review procedure, compliance tests of general control, and tests of detailed transaction and balance. Okay, next we move to the advantage and disadvantage of the cats. Cats allow the auditor to do the independently access to the document. It is because when the document is audited, the cats will ensure the document itself will be in read-only copy. So it will ensure the independent and no bias exists. Okay, the next one is it will ensure the examination of data will be more rapid and accurate, so it will increase the accuracy and efficiency of the audit test. The last one is it is practical method of examining large amount of data and provide new opportunity to the auditor to access the data, and it will test the reliability of the client software. It means that by using CATs, we will know the capability of the client software to hold how many data they can hold. The next one is the disadvantage of CATs. CATs can be expensive or time consuming to be acquired because it is the detailed system to be done. The next one is the technical and expert knowledge is required and it might be difficult to obtain from the client. The potential incompatibility with the client computer system because some standard computer cannot fit with this system, and the audit team may not have sufficient IT skill and knowledge, and the data may also be corrupt and lost during the application of the CATs. Okay, next we move to the type of the CATs. The first type is CAS, which is Generalized Audit Software. It is the most common CATs used in recent years. It is used to analyze data to identify the anomalies, errors, omission that used in gathering the audit evidence rather than documenting. It is one of the off-shelf package that can provide means to gain the access and interrogate data that maintained in the computer storage media. It is one of the tool IT auditor to utilize in order to obtain the evidence directly on the quality of the record produced and maintained by the application system. GAS consists of the series of computer program that can read the computer file, select the desired information, perform repetitive calculation, print the report in an auditor specified format. Generalized audit software also enable the auditor to have direct access to computerized record and to deal effectively with the large quantities of the data. Okay, there are some example of the case, which is ACL and IDEA. ACL, that named as Audit Command Language, a data analysis software program that help auditor to remain the current with the changing technology. It is useful in the ability to perform the analysis and audit tests on 100% of data available rather than merely sampling the data. The ability to audit 100% of the available data assists auditor with identifying the potential fraud pattern and data security. IDEA is a leading e-audit data analytics software package. It is provide audit, finance and compliance professional in the industry and practice with an efficient and effective solution for high performance audit. IDEA also used by the tax authority throughout the world, including the Revenue Commissioner, to interrogate taxpayer transaction and system data. The next one is the disadvantage and advantage of the case. The first advantage of the case is it is improve the efficiency by automating manual procedure. Plus, gas can be applied to wide variety of the client with minimal customization. This is a single program that can be applied to the wide range of tasks without having to incur the cost or inconvenience of developing individual programming. The second one is it provides the documentation of each test performed in the software that can be used as documentation in auditor work paper. The last one is independent of the system being audited and needs a read-only copy of the file. The disadvantage is the high initial cost of their development. It provides a limited ability to verify programming logic because its application is usually direct to the testing client file or database. It involves auditing after the client has processed the data rather than while data is being processed.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Khairunisa Syafiqah binti Khairul Syahrid, and now I will continue the presentation with the other type of computer-aided audit techniques, which is custom audit software. Okay, basically, custom audit software is generally written by the auditors for specific audit tasks for such programs that are when the entity's computer system is not compatible with the auditor's generalized audit software. It is also used by the auditor when the auditor wants to conduct some testing that may not be possible with the generalized audit software. Okay, by using the custom audit software, there are advantages that the auditors can benefit, such as this software is efficient to prepare custom programs. If they will be used in the future audits of the entity or used for similar engagements. In contrast, there were also some disadvantages of using this software, which might be too expensive to develop. It may requires a long development time, and it also require extensive modification if the client changes its accounting application program. Okay, now I will proceed the presentation with the other type of CAAT, which is test data. Okay, basically the auditor will use the test data for testing the application controls in the client's computer program. In using this method, the auditor first creates a set of simulated data for processing. The data should be include both valid and invalid data. After calculating the expected result of processing the test data, the auditor then will use the client's computer and application programs to process the data. The data which have the valid data will be processed, and the invalid data will be identified as errors by the auditors. The result of the processing are then compared with the auditor's predetermined result. Okay, basically the objective of test data is to ensure the accuracy of computers processing of transactions. Normally, the auditor uses test data as it is function to check the data validation controls and error detection. It also processing the logic controls, arithmetic calculations, and the inclusion of transaction in records, files, and reports. There are advantages that auditors may benefit from using the test data, which it provides the evidence on the effectiveness controls, including in the client's application programs. In contrast, there will be also some disadvantages of using the test data, which can be very time consuming to create the test data, and also the auditor may not be certain that all relevant conditions or controls are tested. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Ainin Sofia binti Nuruddin. I will proceed to the next type of CAAT, which is Integrated Test Facility. Okay, ITF is an automated, ongoing technique that enables the auditor to test an application's logic and control during its normal operation. It involves the creation of dummy ledgers and record to which test data can be sent. This enables more frequent and efficient test data procedures to be performed live, and the information can simply be ignored by the client when printing out their internal records. Okay, next, the common form of ITF. Firstly, a dummy ITF center is created for the auditors. Next, the auditors will create the transaction for controls that they want to test. After that, a working paper are created to show expected result from manually processed information. Then, auditors' transactions are run with actual transaction. Lastly, auditors will compare ITF result with the working paper. Okay, next I will move to the advantage and disadvantage of ITF. The advantage is periodic testing does not require separate test process. However, careful planning is necessary and test data must be isolated from production data. It is economically tested without disrupting the user's operation and without the intervention of computer service personnel. Next, ITF is a useful tool during IT audit because it uses the same program to compare processing using independently calculated data. This involves setting up dummy entities on an application system and processing data. The disadvantage is someone may manipulate the real data files by transferring data from dummy files. Next, it is a costly use of computer resources where the cost of setting up the facility adds to overhead of the system. Okay, the next type is parallel simulation. Parallel simulation involves the auditor writing a computer program that replicates some part of client's application system, process client actual data through an auditor's generalized software program, and compares the output obtained with output obtained from the client. Okay, the function of parallel simulation is to facilitate the substantive testing of the client account balance. It also functions to provide evidence on the control used in the client's application program. Okay, the parallel simulation is the best technique for verification of calculation. For example, calculation for depreciation, interest, tax, and payroll. Okay, for the procedure of parallel simulation, firstly, auditors write or obtain a copy of program that simulate key features to be reviewed or tested. Next, auditors will gain a thorough understanding of the application under review. Then, auditors will identify those process and control critical to the application. After that, auditors will create the simulation using process or generalized audit software, which is GAS. Okay, after that, auditors will run the simulated program using selected data and file. Lastly, auditors will evaluate the result and reconcile the differences. Okay, next I will go to the disadvantage and advantage of parallel simulation. Okay, parallel simulation will benefit in terms of there is a possibility that an auditor's program could have additional controls embedded which enable the evaluation of effects on non-existent control procedure. Next, auditor can independently run the test using parallel simulation. While the disadvantage is there are tracing differences between the two sets of output. To difference in the program may be difficult. Okay, next, the auditor may need a special training to understand the client's program and develop a program that simulates the client's program.
Assalamualaikum. Next, I will proceed with the concurrent audit technique. Concurrent audit technique is a tool used by the auditor to collect evidence on the reliability of the computer-based application system. At the same time, it also becomes as the application system that carry out live operational processing of the transaction data. They are also implemented via the instruction that are amended within the application software or system software. For the example, database management system, which is support the application system. In sensitive situation, which is in the high materiality, the concurrent audit technique will be executed continuously. Meanwhile, alternatively, the audit will be executed periodically, for the example, during random interval or during the high-risk intervals. The evidence that are collected can be reported immediately to the auditor, which is likely if the high-risk error or irregularities are identified during the application system processing. On the other hand, the evidence they collect can be stored and reported periodically. For example, the situation is when there is expected losses associated with the exception is identified low, so it can be reported to auditor periodically compared to before, which is need to report it to the auditor immediately. Next, I will go with the summary. So the computer-assisted audit technique is a fundamental tool that are commonly used by the auditor. With the help of this tool, the accountant often will able to provide more analytical result. It also, with the help of the CAAT, more forensic accounting and analytical data can be done. Other than that, it's really helpful to the firm auditor to work in efficient and productive manner. Working with the CAAT also is essential for the accountant and auditor to select the right data and become professional for it. So after selecting the data need to import to the CAAT, and automatic will be generated to the analytical data. So this tool, I think, is a very helpful and essential that can contribute to the efficiency of the auditor. On the other hand, the CAAT also increase the speed and accuracy, which is clearly the auditor can use computer program to run through the financial statement and compare the data and figure out. Then the job also can be done quickly and not only slightly reliance on computer. For instance, the auditing program also come with the useful checks and balance that spot not only the calculation error, but it also mismatch the item entries and the potential regulatory issue. And lastly, the auditor can perform the audit with the efficiency in the long term that will result in a more cost-effective audit. Thank you.